Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from the Joy 99.7 FM studios, Kokumlemle in Accra, a digital address GA0993341. Also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by Telesol 4G, just a touch. In this edition, Inspector General of Police heads to Kumasi as police and Canadian officials intensify search for 2 Canadian women kidnapped last week. We'll get you live details. Meanwhile, security analysts cite inadequate visibility of the police on the ground as contributing to criminal activity.
In general, police visibility. As we speak, do you see the police within the society? You don't see them. So, indeed, the sense that these criminals will get is that, but they know where all the police static points are.
Also in this edition, tighten security and free hot meals for candidates as more than 500,000 students across the country sits for the first paper in this year's basic education certificate examination.
We are providing them with 1 hot meal a day for all the days that they will be writing the exams. We want to remove that problem of some of them writing the exams on empty stomach.
We'll take you live to some of the centres, including Tripoli. In our series on government's One Village, One Dam policy, we'll take you to a community where residents say year-round farming is being hampered as most of the water collected is lost through the spillways.
And the water too, they open the spillway too much. The water cannot stay.
The only problem is we are too many, so the dam is too small to serve all of us.
Also in sports.
Now, as Black Stars coach Kwesi Appiah prepares to name his final 23-man squad for the Africa Cup of Nations, the mild-mannered coach feels sorry for those who will be evicted from the provisional squad. And
as we continue the build-up of the second in our series of crimes that shook the nation, titled Scars of the Revolution, we'll tell you why the aide-de-camp to Major General Odate Wellington wants a military installation named after the slain soldier.
General Odate Wellington deserves to have his name bestowed on one of the military institutions.
We have all that and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. And in our very first story, Inspector General of Police David Asante Appiah is in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi, with officials from the Canadian High Commission as a search for the 2 kidnapped Canadian women intensifies. An Uber driver who witnessed the incident has been assisting police in investigations, but there's been no sign of the girls yet, even though the police assures all is being done to find the 2 who went missing last week. We'll bring you latest on the IGP's visit, and my colleague Ohiming Teria has joined us live on the line. So, Ohiming, first of all, has the police been able to establish any new leads on the kidnapped women?
Yes, MFR, I have information from police who say they have reliable leads that could lead to the rescue of the girls, especially when they receive the support of their Canadian counterparts. So they are not leaving any stone unturned. They are picking several leads almost every now and then, and these are the leads that they think could lead to the rescue of the 2 women.
But if you're making so much headway, like you're saying, why do they need the IGP? What is he there for?
Yes, MFR, IGP, don't forget, is in charge of security in the country. So because of the sensitive nature, the international nature of the kidnapping of the 2 women, has to come all the way to Kumasi and to receive briefing from the regional police command, especially the investigative team that have been on this beat, and also to meet with other people that he thinks were so important to the investigations of this particular case. So he was in the company of the Deputy High Commissioner, the Canadian Deputy High Commissioner, and the 2 of them received briefing from the police. And don't forget, the Canadian team, especially the High Commissioner, was in Kumasi a day after the 2 women were declared missing. So the Canadian High Commissioner and the team has been in Kumasi, giving every necessary support that police will require to make this case so smooth in their investigations.
But has he been speaking yet, and what has he been saying?
Honestly, we didn't get any word from the Inspector General of Police because this was a closed-door meeting. Don't forget the sensitive nature of this case, and the Canadian High Commissioner has served notice that it wants this particular case to be of high profile without the involvement of the media as quick as possible. So it was a closed-door meeting that the IGP had with the police and then the Deputy High Commissioner of the Canadian Embassy in Ghana. But as we speak, he also, announced the presence and the arrival of the Canadian team to support with the investigations.
I'm sure there's a lot of talk in town among residents on this particular issue. What have they been saying?
Residents of Kumasi are particularly concerned with the fact that the kidnapping of the Canadian woman is happening at the back of less than 2 months that an Indian national was picked up in Kumasi, and some of the residents believe that this is alien to Kumasi. This is something that was unheard of, so they want police to speed up investigations. And now that they have the Canadian team, to support them, especially with an expert in bargaining to support them in their investigations, they want to hear something from police, especially, and also from the kidnappers. If they are demanding ransom, they want to hear something from them so that the residents will know that this is the direction that investigations is heading to.
My colleague there, Heming Teria, he'll be following that incident for us. We'll give you more as and when we get it in our subsequent bulletins. But as you know, 2 separate alerts have since been issued by the Canadian Embassy and the United Kingdom High Commission to their nationals about violent crimes in the country, including kidnapping and terrorist activities. Security expert Colonel Festus Abuaji believes the police ought to be doing more to step up security. He cites inadequate visibility of the police on the ground as contributing to criminal activities, including kidnapping. He spoke on the Super Morning Show today.
Our police patrolling our highways, not the static points that we find where they flag you, pull you to the side of the road, show me. No. Actually on motorbikes and on vehicles, moving up and down within certain stretches of highways. There are a whole lot of things that they can do. Of course, in general, police visibility. As we speak, do you see the police within the society? You don't see them. You see. So the sense that one gets, indeed the sense that these criminals will get is that, and the criminals know the community, they know the society. They know routes. In fact, they know where all the police static points are. And they can adopt evasive tactics and avoid those checkpoints. You see, I don't know what it is that the police is doing, but as an individual, as a citizen, I'm not seeing it. And indeed, it is not being put in print, and the police has not embarked on a public information campaign using all the facilities like media houses.
You heard that Colonel Festus Abuaji. Another security analyst, Dr. Vladimir Inchidanzo, says one must not discount the possibility that the kidnappings may be a ploy to make government unpopular.
Ghana being what it is, mind you, in several places so. Are we sure some people are not hiding the truth somewhere? Are you sure some people are not supporting this one way or the other, be it political?
Local people?
Local people. Somebody hasn't seen that.
Just to make it seem like the place is insecure?
Exactly. It's possible. I'm not saying it's happening. But I haven't seen $10,000 before. But supposing you keep these guys for 2 days and get 10,000, I would do it somehow. I'm not saying that's the truth. It's possible within our setup where corruption is at its highest and in the eyes of the international community. I mean, you could always do something to disturb a government. I'm not saying it's happening, but supposing somebody wants to make a Kufuor and another Kufuor, His Excellency, look bad in the eyes for the next election.
You heard that Dr. Vladimir Inchidanzo speaking to my colleague Mama V. Owusu Abuaji on the AM show on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. Now, let's write some exams, shall we? Because this year's Basic Education Certificate Examination, BECE, has taken off to a good start as the over 500,000 candidates have written the first paper in English language. In Tripoli, for instance, the 64 candidates from the Tripoli EP Junior High School, after losing several contact hours prior to the examination, after they had to flee the conflict between Chokosis and Konkombe, members are being accommodated at the exam center and provided with security. One of the students, Ashia Amadou, made headlines when she appealed to feuding factions to ceasefire last month.
When we are in our various houses, we cannot do anything about it. So they should please stop the conflict, because this year the cut-off grade is security to 5. And as we are in the house, we cannot do anything. I'm crying because we are suffering. The government should do something about this conflict, because it is really affecting with the BC candidates.
Now, we all remember that sound, don't we? The headmaster of the school, Samuel Ajari, fears some of the candidates may not be adequately prepared psychologically and emotionally.
It's something that's quite appalling, especially those who run away since January, and they are just coming. When they went out, according to some of them, they went and joined some schools outside. They were not able to partake in any mock activities. So some of them, if you look at their faces, it's very disturbing.
So you had the headmaster of the Triponi EP Junior High School, Samuel Ejari, there speaking to us earlier on the situation in his school. Our correspondent Martina Bugui taught some centres together with the minister and joins us live on the line. Martina, which centres have you been to? You would talk about heavy security. Tell us a bit more about it. Okay, looks like we don't have Martina Bugui there on the phone, but she's been interacting with some of the members of the team that have been touring some of these schools.
In Triponi, enough arrangement has been made for the 64 candidates who were to be affected to write. The Regional Security Council, that's both Northern Region and Northeast Region. They have come together with the DCE for Triponi, and enough security measures have been put in place to escort the 64 candidates from the troubled area to Triponi Senior High, where they are going to be accommodated throughout the period of the exam. And they will end on Friday. Starting from today, they will end on Friday. And the same security details will carry them or escort them back to their communities. So that one has been done, and it's working as at now.
Now to the Eastern region, because Member of the Parliament for the Sujaman constituency is serving free hot meals to the candidate. All 1,751 candidates will be fed for a 5-day period. Teachers and invigilators stationed at all the 7 examination centres are also or will be beneficiaries of the gesture. The MP, Thomas Ampem-Nyako, says he wants to prevent the situation where candidates will write the exams on empty stomachs.
We have encouraged the children, we've motivated them, and we believe that they are going to give off their best in this year's BEC. As their Member of Parliament, as I've been doing annually, feeding all the candidates. We have about 1,751 candidates registered in Esojaman, and we are providing them with 1 hot meal a day for all the days that they will be writing the exams. We want to remove that problem of some of them writing the exams on empty stomach, and so we believe that this will also motivate them and help them write their exams and give us the results we've been working hard for. Okay, last year was a great improvement over the previous year.
You are the MP for Sujaman, Thomas Ampem-Nyako. Let's come to the capital now, where Joy News' Faustina Safo visited some centres. She reports, though papers arrived at some centres late, some students are optimistic they would pass their exams with flying colours. Now, Faustina joins us on the line. Faustina, which centres have you been to?
Thank you very much, MFI. I visited Kanda 3 and 5 cluster of schools, where over 200 candidates sat for the exams. Then we moved to St. Thomas Aquinas at Cantonment, and then finally last stop at last St. Paul's Primary and GHS School. Now, some of the pupils we spoke to, they were quite optimistic that they will pass the exams with flying colours. Others expressed tension. They said they were tense when they entered the exams, expecting that it would be quite difficult. But after looking at the questions, they saw it was quite easy, and they're hoping that this paper is going to be an A1 paper for them.
Wow, but despite the fact that they were hot, they still found time to interact with you. What have they been telling you? At least, apart from those saying that they will come out with flying colours.
Well, first of all, some of the students I spoke to, they were quite tense. You could see it from their face. They were so tense. Writing their first paper, they were tense, and they were hoping that, okay, this paper is going to be easy. And when they start through the exams, they tell me that they were able to write every question, and they're hoping that they'll pass with flying colours. There were security present at some schools we visited as well.
Easy. Yeah. We expected something difficult, but then when we got there, we saw that everything was easy. It was on our level, so we were able to write it.
I wasn't tense when I started.
And how was it like for you?
It was so easy.
What are you expecting?
I'm expecting that all the other subjects will be so easy for us.
I was nervous when the paper came in front of me, but at the end, the fear went away.
We've all been through that before, haven't we? Now, let's head to the Volta region because correspondent Ivy Setoji has also been interacting with some students there. She joins us on the line. Is the situation any different in the Volta region? What have students been telling you?
Yes, so the students are calm. They are doing well. Some of them obviously said they are not really, they are not okay with the exam because they are nervous and they are sort of scared. But apart from that, everything is going on smoothly. No pregnancy has been recorded so far in the Hokwe municipality. The Energy Minister, John Peter Amewu, and the MCE for the area, Teddy Ofori, are currently monitoring the centers and also donated a pickup and some motorbikes to the Education Director to boost, to help them work better. News coming in also from Ketu South is a head teacher at one of the private schools has been picked up by the police for registering about 68 foreign students. So the MCE for Ketu South, Elio Tede McDonough, has asked the head teacher to cooperate with the police. So for now, that is what is happening. Everything is well and ongoing in the Hokwe municipality where I am.
That's our Volta regional correspondent Ivy Setoji. Meanwhile, the West African Examination Council, WAEC, says it expects an incident-free examination. Agnes Tekwijo is public relations officer. She spoke to us earlier.
We have 517,332 candidates who are taking part in the examination. These candidates are from 16,871 schools throughout the country, and they'll be writing the exam at 1,880 centers. All stationery have already been sent to the district, and the supervisors have custody of these stationery. We've sent the question papers to our strong rooms at the various depots.
Okay.
And the distribution officers from the Ghana Education Service would go to the depots, pick the questions, and distribute them to the centers along their route. So everything is ready for the exam.
That's Agnes Tekwijo, the Public Relations Officer of the West African Examination Council, WAEC. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, the cost of 21 road projects funded with oil money in Greater Accra, Ashanti, Eastern and Volta regions ballooned from 80 million to 395 million Ghana cedis after completion. That's according to the Public Interest Accountability Committee, PIAC. But Joy News checks review, already many of these roads are developing potholes. It's one of the highlights of the latest Joy News Hotline documentary titled Leaking Oil, set for broadcast today. Take a listen.
There were 21 roads that were awarded in the Greater Accra, Ashanti, Eastern and Volta regions. Over 81 million cedis of oil money was used. By the time the project was done, it had cost the taxpayer over 395 million cedis. Dr. Steve Mantiao is chairman of the committee.
For me, what was even more worrying about such projects was the fact that they were leading to increasing cost of completing the project. But by the time you come back to continue with the projects, the cost would have escalated. You need to do variations and all that, and those could lead to inefficient use of public resources.
I am here at Bremai and heading towards Sepe Dote in the Ashanti region. In 2011, government awarded the rehabilitation of a Bremai UGC and Sepe Dote main road to Kofi Job Company Limited. The original contract sum was over 4.9 million cedis. By the time the project was completed in 2014, the figure had shot up to over 8.7 million cedis according to a 2017 PIAC inspections report. This is a 77% increase in the project cost. But motorists who use the road are unhappy with the poor quality of work. Last year, the Roads and Highways Minister, Kwesi Amakwata, announced that despite the fact that the government has been able to pay 3 billion cedis arrears from road construction after taking over power, there are still some outstanding arrears to be cleared, and the ministry will do everything possible to clear the remaining arrears in 2019. The Public Interest Accountability Committee argues that one of the ways to misappropriate the oil funds is to delay the projects to allow for variations in the original costs.
If you allocate monies to road projects and they are inadequate in completing the projects, chances are that by the time you return to those projects with additional funds to continue, the roads would have deteriorated. And so you have to do some cost variations and go back to do work that was completed before the project came to a standstill. There was a particular case of a, Brekum's Sampa Road, where a project estimated to cost something in excess of 40 million Ghana cedis had only 3 million allocated to it. What impact would 3 million make on a 40 million Ghana cedis project? But curiously, the allocation was done in an election year, 2016.
You heard the excerpts of our latest Hotline documentary, Leaking Oil, and it airs tonight at 8:30 p.m. on the Joy News channel on Multi TV. This is the midday news on Joy 99.7 FM. Our top story: Inspector General of Police heads to Kumasi as police and Canadian officials intensify search for 2 Canadian women kidnapped last week. Meanwhile, security analysts are citing inadequate visibility of the police on the ground as contributing to criminal activity. When we return from the break, in our series on government One Village, One Dam policy, we'll take you to a community where residents say year-round farming is being hampered as most of the water collected is lost through the spillways.
And the water too, they open the spillway too much. The water cannot stay.
The only problem is we are too many, so the dam is too small to serve all of us.
And we continue the build-up to the second in a series of crimes that shook the nation. This one titled Scars of the Revolution. And we'll hear why the AD camp to Major General Odate Wellington wants a military installation named after the slain soldier.
General Odate Wellington deserves to have his name bestowed on one of the military institutions.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. And Ridwan Ibrahim Asante has sports.
Yes, MFA. Now, the deadline for the submission of scores for the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations is midnight of today, June 10. Black Stars coach Kwesi Appiah is yet to officially announce his final 23-man squad. Appiah gave game time to each of the 28 players in camp for yesterday's 1-0 defeat to Namibia in a warm-up match played in Dubai. He says it wasn't easy taking a decision on players to be dropped.
I believe that many of the players has done so well training, and I wish I could take all the 29 players to Egypt, but unfortunately we have to choose 23. But saying that, those that have been selected, I am 100% sure will go to Egypt and make all Kenyans proud.
That's Kwesi Appiah. We'll be telling you which players failed to make the grade for the Nations Cup in Egypt.
Enjoy the rest of your day, Ridwan. Now, Education Minister Matthew Opoku Prempeh has been named the best minister according to a survey conducted by some senior lecturers at the Political Science Department at the University of Ghana. The study was conducted in all 275 constituencies across the country and reveals that NDC MPs are doing better than NPP MPs. My colleague Efwa Evans Chinri is there for us and joins us on the line. So, Efwa, tell us, how did they come to this conclusion that the Education Minister is the best?
Well, hi, MFA. Matthew Opoku Prempeh was named the best after the researchers asked respondents what they make of ministers' performances and whether they are happy with them or not. And most of them, according to the study, chose Matthew Opoku Prempeh because they claim he dealt better with the education system. And when it comes to the MPs, Collins Dauda of Ekiti South was named the best after respondents also said that he visits the constituency often and he interacts very, very often with them. Now, the survey, according to the researchers, was carried out to basically find out how the MPs are doing since they were elected into office and how satisfied or dissatisfied members of their community are with them. They covered all 275 constituencies.
My colleague there, Efwa Evans Chinwe, interestingly also the Agric Minister, Usufi Yakutu and John Peter Mewu and Alan Manting have also been named as the best performing ministers after the Education Minister. On to some other stories now. Government's One Village, One Dam project has ensured that some villages which lacked water for irrigation now have dugouts around them to hold some water. These were supposed to ensure year-round agriculture. Some of the communities are excited about the policy, but in the Bongo village of Cabre, residents say too much water is lost through the spillways on the dam, which makes the facility unable to hold enough water. They are also worried that the dam is trapping their livelihood. In our series on the dams, Albert Sori has been speaking to some residents of the village and now reports.
In spite of the small size of the dam, it has a large spillway which the community members here complain allows a lot of water coming into the dam to go out into a waterway outside the community and waste away. The older farmers here at Cabre seem to be content that they have water for their animals at least, but they appeal to the government to consider expanding the dam.
The
communities that depend on this dam are many. We cannot say that the government has not done anything for us because our animals drink from this dam, so we no longer have to go long distances looking for them. The only problem is we are too many, so the dam is too small to serve all of us. Therefore, we appeal to the government to come and expand it for us.
One of the farmers here at Cabre also told us that there are some portions of the dam which have become death traps to some animals that try to drink the water.
It's deep like this, and they didn't open it. So our animals fell inside it. So if I come to fetch water, maybe I will move one goat or donkey. And the water they open the spillway too much. The water cannot stay.
Out of the 10 dams the president promised will be constructed in the Bongo district, only 4 are currently under construction.
Now, you recall that the opposition NDC says yesterday issued a statement claiming that most of these dams have become death traps and continue to claim precious lives in the various communities they are located. The party also stated that these excavated ponds and dugouts are not serving any meaningful purpose. Well, the government has been reacting to those claims, and it says that currently 300 dams are under construction. 4 out of the 300 dams, representing 1.3%, are the only ones to have recorded challenges. These include ongoing works at the dam at Kajelo in the Kasina Nankana West District, which was damaged by unexpected rainfall. The damage has since been rectified. I will get more of the statement in our subsequent bulletins. But just before we go, for the first time after 4 years of the Studley killing on June 4th, 1979, the children of the late Major General Odate Wellington organized a memorial to honor him. Well, as we build up to the second in our series of crimes that shook the nation titled Scars of the Revolution, we'll tell you why his aide-de-camp, Captain Retired Emmanuel Poku, insists a more befitting memorial will be the military naming one of its institutions after the Major General.
The memorial started with a Thanksgiving service at the Osu Presbyterian Church, where friends, family, and former colleagues of the late general gathered. This service was followed by a wreath-laying ceremony at the military cemetery. Tribute after tribute, the virtues of the former army commander was brought to the fore.
I make no apologies if reporting the facts of General Odate Wellington's courage and sense of duty does not sit well with certain groups. The past matters, and history must be conserved.
Former Ghana representative to Serbia, Dr. Nyahuta Mako, crowned it.
His dedication to work while commander of the Ghana Army pushed him to do unthinkable, leading his troops himself to quell a military uprising on June 4th, 1979, and he was killed in action. He always got his hands dirty and did tasks many a time outside his scope.
For his aide-de-camp, Captain Retired Kwame Poku, a more befitting memorial will be naming the military installation after him.
The period of letting sleeping dogs lie, and I dare say political correctness, is long gone. General Odate Wellington deserves to have his name bestowed on one of the military institutions. The army was his life, and he fought and died in its defense.
Now, what are we talking about on social media, Maps?
We're talking about the BEC, and at M. Baumia tweets that I wish all candidates writing the 2019 BEC the best of luck. The academic journey to enjoy the flagship free SHS program starts today. Success and victory are yours. And this one is from at Kojo Wilson, who's asking, which year did you write your BEC?
You don't want to know. But the 2019 edition of the National Science and Maths Quiz begins this week, and we'll give you more in our subsequent bulletins. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Memefa Apau. Enjoy your day.